Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As we mentioned earlier, today we'll be talking about Egypt's Vision 2030 and the projects and initiatives launched by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi as part of Egypt's Vision 2030. We're going to learn more about the vision and the role of us citizens in this regard. We're going to talk about means of enhancing and developing the Egyptian personality with our guest today, Dr. Amira Sabak, Strategic Management and Leadership Professor and also International Education Leader. Thank you very much, Dr. Amira, for being with us today.
It's always a pleasure for me to be with you and your audience.
Thank you. Now, to start with, let's introduce the audience to Egypt's Vision 2030. When and why did it start? To know more about the vision itself.
Okay, give me the opportunity to introduce this idea or concept or vision, especially to youth, in a very simple wording. Vision 2030 is, in a simple way, it's a long-term strategic plan that aims at achieving the principles and goals of sustainable development in all fields. This vision was launched by the Egyptian government in February 2016 and was unveiled by the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, and it has 8 main goals. Sorry. It has 8 main goals. These goals are go in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and they also go with the Africa 2063 Sustainable Development Goals. So this vision aims at achieving these 8 projects by the year 2030.
Part of them cover the sectors of health, education, housing. I remember 3.
Yeah, this was mainly, what you're talking about was mainly through Hayya Karima initiative.
Yes.
If we are going to talk about the axis of Vision 2030.
Yes, the axis.
Yes. We can speak about knowledge economy, encouraging innovation, spatial justice.
Yes, digital transformation.
Digital transformation, definitely. Encouraging and empowering women, empowering youth.
Yes.
Supporting small and middle enterprises and encouraging entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And let me tell you a very interesting piece of information for our youth to be very proud of their country. Egypt was the only and sole country in the main region, Middle East and North Africa, that had a positive GDP growth rate. All the other countries, they had a negative GDP growth rate. So Egypt, through all its projects and through this vision and through the strength and direct vision of its leadership, was able to have a growth GDP, especially in the year of the recession of 2020 and 2021. And this was a big challenge, yes, the COVID-19. Yes. This was a big challenge for all countries.
Yes. The axis also covered the economic, social, and environmental levels.
Yes, that's true. And through the 3 projects that we are working on now, like the administrative capital, with all its projects like the Octagon and the big mosque there and the big administrative buildings, through Hayya Karima, through the army projects, we are having now lots of access that we are covering that is providing us with all the social, technical, and environmental needs, as you said.
Dr. Amira, can you tell us please more about the 8 projects of Egypt's Vision 2030?
Sure. Okay, let's say them one by one. The first and the most important of these objectives is the quality of life objective. For the past 20 years, the poverty rate in Egypt was very high. It was reaching, since 1999, it was reaching 32.5%. Today, the poverty rate is 29.7%, which is a very good start. We are aiming that by the end of 2030, we will completely be able to eliminate the poverty in Egypt. The second objective is equity and justice. Now the agenda of Vision 2030 aims at having social equality for all citizens and social integration, which means that now all citizens will have the right to voice themselves, and they have the right for employment, they have the right to to all the resources of the country, and they have a positive participation in the country's projects. Objective number 3 is strong economy. Through all the projects that that are taking place in the country, we started to have lots of financial resources, bigger employment rate, which helps in reducing the budget deficit and the public debt.
Yes.
So now we are getting better in our economic, and this appears in everything in our country now. When we go to the fourth objective is knowledge and innovation. Knowledge and innovation now, we can all see the modernization that the Ministry of Education is working on. So through our educational system, through our training process, through our digital transformation, we are moving to better knowledge and innovation. This is objective number 4. Objective number 5 is sustainable environment, which means, yes, we are going through a lot of developments and we are having a big eye on developments, but we are keeping an eye on our environment as well, which means, yes, we need to have lots of outcomes and we want to do a lot of things, but with the minimal, considering the resources for our future generations.
Yes.
Number 6 is governance.
Yes.
Now Egypt, through its agenda, is working on having a governance system which encourages citizens to abide to the rules and procedures, and at the same time to have transparency and reducing corruption.
Actually, it is also connected with the digital transformation.
Yeah.
The dimension of digital transformation is associated with good governance, and it has been subject of focus by the Egyptian government, how to achieve digital transformation and at the same time maintain good governance.
Yes, because digital transformation helps us to get more data, and data helps us in putting a proper way for governance. So definitely they are related.
Yes.
Moving to objective number 7, this is peace and security. When I talk about security, definitely I'm talking about political security, but I'm also talking about security of food, security of energy. I'm talking about social security, technological security, environmental security, political security, and legal security. So what we are working now that the Egyptian citizen can feel security in all his life aspects.
True.
Last but not least is that Egypt, or the objective number 8, Egypt is working now on having a leading stature. Egypt is working now in its relationship with its neighboring countries.
Africa.
Through exchanging its technical experience, through sharing ideas. We are working together to show our neighboring countries, yes, we are capable of enriching you, and it will be a win-win situation to be one hand. So these 8 objectives are the main objectives of Vision 2030.
Okay. What are the 3 main projects of Vision 2030?
The first project is Hayat Karima, and I think we met here in the program here and we talked about it.
Yes, a few months ago.
Last few months ago, Hayat Karima aims at eliminating poverty, giving better services in education, medical, and housing for all citizens. It works on empowering youth to be proactive and to work in different projects to prove themselves and to have a decent life, educational-wise, housing-wise, cultural-wise, and this is shown in all areas now in Egypt. The second one is the administrative capital, the new administrative capital, and it will be one of the first smart cities in the Middle East. It has the Octagon, it has lots of administrative offices, it has a different view. Now we are moving a bit like Europe, when we are having places for technology and business life, we are having other for having a quite decent life. So this administrative capital is one of the biggest projects. Now the third project is the production of the armed forces. The armed forces are now almost producing all their needs. And we will be using these needs till 2030. And by 2030, we will have like a surplus. So the armed forces are aiming at exporting this surplus to other countries after that. So now we are fulfilling our needs, and then we are working on exporting and having more resources for our country.
Yes. Since we mentioned the Hayat Karima initiative as part of the main project of Egypt's Vision 2030, what's very distinguished about Hayat Karima or Decent Life is that it's not a pure governmental initiative. It involves for the very first time partners, and the partners are the civil society and the private sector.
That's true.
So the private sector, the civil society are cooperating and coordinating with the state in order to achieve the targets of Decent Life initiative. And this brings me to ask you how to increase the awareness, especially in the countryside, for citizens. The citizens, especially in rural areas and in the countryside, they need to know more about these initiatives. How can they cooperate? What would be their role as citizens in the initiative, and how to cooperate also with the civil society, with how to be proactive, if we can say.
Okay, let me start with the use of the country in the rural areas. As you said, they are not as they used to be now with all the social media and the YouTube and our openness to the whole globe. These youth now got the awareness that we are different and we need to cope with the new achievements and new technology in the whole world. A piece of advice for all organizations now, and that's what is actually taking place, is that we are starting with youth in early ages, starting from schools, universities, and enterprises. After that, we are starting with camps. Now there is a lot of camps sponsored by the country. These camps raise the awareness of youth. They speak about the projects of the country. They talk about how to be a proactive person, not a reactive one. They are teaching our youth about how to begin with an end in mind, how to have a vision in your life. I want you to imagine if you are playing football or soccer and there is no goal in front of you. Will you be interested in playing? Definitely not. So now they are showing these youth a real goal that they really want to hit. So during the camps and during the conferences like the one that is taking place these days, we are introducing our youth to such projects and proactivity initiatives and proactive initiatives. I'm sorry. One of the main things that we are working on now is hearing the voice of youth. We are listening to them. When we listen to them, we are instilling self-confidence in them. And when they get self-confident, they will become proactive, as you said.
Definitely.
They will become interested and positive participants in the community.
Yes. I'd like to thank you very much, Dr. Amira Sabak, Strategic Management and Leadership Professor and International Education Leader. Thank you very much for being with us
My honor and
today.
privilege. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us in this edition of Women's World. I'm Helen Hamalawi signing off for now.